We see the idea of soul. I am a soul, you are a soul, in a very human way. Are we actually individuated souls? I was not expecting that. In total awe of this experience that she had. Welcome, friends. I'm going to share an unfolding understanding around the idea of being an individuated soul. And so I'm going to share with you everything that's come through around it. I'm going to be upfront. I don't have an answer. I'm not coming here to say this is the truth, because no one, I think if anyone says that, be curious. But I've been really contemplative around the idea of the soul. And when I first started channeling, a message came through: your essence, your presence is your essence, and your essence is but a sprinkling of your soul. And as I was sitting with that, I almost kind of wondered, was it your soul or the soul? And that's kind of the crux of this conversation. So I'm a student of the guides, which Paul Selig channels what's referred to as the guides. They also go by Melchizedek, but like everything out of form, they are beyond name. And they talk about the personality structure. And I was really kind of confused, because I always thought that when I meet someone, like their personality, their essence, their energy, that's like almost a nod of the soul, of who they truly are. And so I was very confused as to the personality structure and the role that it plays. Is it an aspect that comes with us through lifetime after lifetime? And my first kind of message around this was through Drag Race, and which I think is appropriate, because drag is someone performing as a persona that you put on and put off. And many drag performers will say that their drag persona is really who they are. That's just something to sit with. But the idea around personality structure, soul, came through the idea of when the queens are picking their roles in, say, like the Rusical. You read through the script and everyone picks a different role. There's different reasons for why different roles are appealing. And it made me realize we are just playing roles. Even Shakespeare said that, all the world's a stage and we're just merely actors on it. So I started seeing, okay, the personality structure is just simply a role. It's a role that we're playing, an experience that we're having. I'm experiencing the role of Blair right now, in this moment in time. In this moment of time that my conscious awareness is attuned to. So that was my first message. And then I started thinking about this idea of how we see the idea of soul, right? That I am a soul, you are a soul, in a very human way. That we are these individuated souls on these individuated journeys that are interconnected, yes. And we have our own mission, our own purpose, and it's very human, because it's steeped in separation, right? That we are separate souls, and ego. Not ego like I'm the best, but the idea of ego in terms of just the basic concept of ego, right? Of who I am, which is very purposeful, right? It's not that you want to literally have an ego death where you have no ego. Like, you need it. It's purposeful. It's purposeful to the experience that you're having. And so to deny that would to deny the experience that you're having here as well. So I started seeing this ocean, and the experience was then seeing this individual droplet of water in the ocean. And I was reminded of Rumi's quote, "You are not a drop in the ocean, you are the ocean in a drop." And so I saw this droplet of water, and I realized, perhaps it's kind of this sense of we can zoom our awareness into the droplet of water and see ourselves as individual droplets of water, similar to the reflection point that I recently shared with precipitation, We can also allow our awareness to see that we are actually in the ocean, we are of the ocean, we are with the ocean, which is also an attunement that the guides offer. We are in God, we are of God, we are with God. So I saw this droplet within the ocean, of the ocean, and I thought, well, maybe that's kind of more akin to the idea of soul, that we can see ourselves as individualized, but we are always within the ocean. And then the same time, I saw a glass of water in the ocean, because we are these physical containers, right? We are these vessels. And 60-70% by volume water. At the molecular level, I said that we are 99% water. So I saw this glass of water in the ocean, and then I saw the glass just begin to disappear, and the water just returned into the ocean. And it was kind of this idea of, we are like these glasses of water still in the ocean. And for some of us, maybe that vessel is glass and we can see the ocean around us. Maybe it's completely opaque and our entire world is just in that glass, not realizing that we are actually in the entire ocean. And then upon what we perceive to be physical death, which is physical death, yes. But again, our relationship to death, I find, is skewed. But when we transition, that glass disappears, the illusion of the glass disappears, and we find ourselves in the ocean exactly where we've always been. The next message came that evening as I laid in bed. No, I'm sorry. That was connected to the next experience, which was when I was watching Schitt's Creek. And I share that too because these moments happen literally while watching TV. So you don't have to be meditating on retreat in Tibet. You can literally be watching TV. I actually wrote a whole blog post around this epiphany I had while watching a reality show. So I'll link that in the description. But I was rewatching Schitt's Creek, and the best way I can explain it is I was watching a scene where Moira had just returned from filming a movie, and it was almost like I was experiencing that which had the experience of Catherine O'Hara. Just in total awe and God, like in total awe of, I was not expecting that. In total awe of this experience that she had as Catherine O'Hara. And she was just like, gosh, that was fun. I was not expecting this. And it was this moment of like, gosh, that was so fun. But that which played and had the experience of Catherine O'Hara was not Catherine O'Hara. And I love the layers in it because she was Catherine O'Hara playing Moira, who had just played another role. And so it was this nod to like, we just are playing these roles. And so that experience, it opened something in me, as you can see. And later that night, I laid in bed and I was shown this image of a closet of Halloween costumes. And the message essentially was, each life, each experience is like a Halloween costume, right? If you have a closet of Halloween costumes and you go and you look at it, you can look at each one and be like, oh yeah, I remember that. That was fun. Or oof, that was a night. But you have this remembrance of the experience, but you know that you're not the Halloween costume, right? That's the point here. You have a connection to it. You understand it. You remember it. You know that you're not the costume. And so each life is like that costume, is like a role. And then the next message, this is the last one, is that same idea of we're playing roles. And so I was thinking of, are we actually individuated souls? And the idea of a past life regression, future life regression, the idea of other lives, is that actually something that we've experienced? Like, was I so-and-so? Or was that an experience that was had that I'm just tuning into because I'm connected to the all? I wasn't necessarily burned, like I wasn't burned at the stake, but I'm tuning into an experience of being burned at the stake to understand perhaps a blockage in this lifetime. And I like this idea too, because one of the reasons I've trained in past life regression, I've done a couple trainings, and I didn't pursue it because I've worked a lot with trauma. I was an eating disorder dietitian, and I have my own trauma and unprocessed trauma that kind of manifested in some really gnarly ways. And so I know that people can have a past life regression and kind of get stuck in the story of it, not understanding the message that it's giving. And, you know, we get stuck in stories all the time. And it doesn't really do us much service to get stuck in the story. Another conversation for another day. But I know that's not anything new to many people listening to this. But I was thinking of that, you know, that's why so many people are like, oh, I was Cleopatra. It's like you're tuning into that experience. And because it was an experience, yes, you are connected to it because we are part of the all. We are not separate. And then I was thinking about this morning, which kind of prompted me to even do this and jump on camera, of a play where a play is written and infinite number of people can play those roles, right? So it is an experience that has been written. It is a thought that has been had. How many people have played Hamlet, have played Ophelia, have played Eliza Doolittle? And anyone can open the book and embody that experience. You don't have to be in a stage production or a film of it. You can just simply open it and read it and embody it and experience it to have that experience. And so it was kind of like that in the connection to, are these other lives that we tune into, are they just simply experiences that we're tuning into? Are they ideas that we're tuning into? And in that way, there's less of an identification and more of an understanding of just simply experience, that this is just experience. In the same way that you can experience a strawberry, the sight of it, the texture of it, the flavor of it, and then you can experience a blueberry. Very different experiences, right? They're separate fruit that you can experience. You can also put that strawberry and blueberry, many strawberries and blueberries, into a blender and have a smoothie. And you're experiencing the strawberry and the blueberry, but it's a very different experience. And here's the thing is that it's not better, it's not worse. But if you've only had a smoothie, right, this is the idea of why would we even come into form? If you've only ever tasted a smoothie, and then you have the opportunity to individually taste a strawberry and individually taste a blueberry, that's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool to have that experience. And if you've only ever had the strawberry and the blueberry, to then have it together as a smoothie, again, really cool experience. Not better, not worse, just different experiences. So, again, I don't have any answers for you. I'm just sitting with the idea that believing ourselves to be these individuated souls has purpose, has merit, allows for an experience, and seeing it in a new way also has merit, has an experience within it that is informative in certain ways. So I'm going to leave it there. It may or may not resonate. It's something I'm still sitting with. I just kind of wanted to share what's come through, and I'm sure there'll be more. Or not. But until next time, friends, stay curious.